Welcome to Fresh Talk News Channel. Today, we dive into a jaw-dropping update that has left the nation in shock. On Tuesday, the President of the United States fired the Democratic commissioners of the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, blatantly violating a law that has stood since 1935. News outlets, including The Verge, rushed to cover the story, but the backlash from readers was swift and fierce. One commenter in the Washington Post section wrote, "This is wildly illegal. Just say that. Don't say the fired people said it was illegal. Say it as the Washington Post when you know it's true. Democracy dies, thanks in part to this rag." Even The Verge faced criticism for its headline, which placed "illegal" in quotation marks, attributing the claim to the Democratic commissioners. A reader on Blue Sky called us out. At TheVerge.com, y'all need a more accurate headline. They're not saying they were illegally fired, they were illegally fired. The precedent set in Humphrey's executor almost a century ago makes that crystal clear. Do better. This situation highlights a common issue in journalism, the tendency to hedge or soften language during legal disputes or uncertain outcomes. Phrases like officer-involved shooting or racially tinged often dilute the truth. At The Verge we strive to call things as they are, but journalistic ethics and legal limitations sometimes force us to tread carefully. What happened on Tuesday, however, was beyond extraordinary. The President's actions violated the Supreme Court's 1935 precedent in Humphrey's Executor v. U.S., which limits presidential power in firing FTC commissioners. The White House knows this, or should. Not only does it employ lawyers who've presumably studied this case, but the acting Solicitor General has even stated the Justice Department aims to overturn Humphrey's executor. The current Republican FTC chair has also called the precedent wrong. To make matters worse, by statute, only 3 FTC members can be from the same party. With 3 Republican seats already filled, replacing the 2 Democratic commissioners with more Republicans would be doubly illegal. The FTC is an independent agency, and the President cannot simply fire its commissioners. To suggest otherwise is like writing Federalist Society fanfiction tagged #alternate universe. But here's the twist, the Supreme Court may soon agree with that fanfiction. At least one commissioner plans to sue, and SCOTUS has already hinted in a 2020 decision that it's ready to overturn Humphrey's executor. As journalists, we often deal with unresolved legal disputes. That's why headlines describe people as alleged killers or companies as accused of copyright infringement. But in this case, there's no dispute over the facts. The only question is whether Humphrey's executor remains valid law. This Supreme Court, stacked with 3 Trump-appointed justices, has shown a troubling willingness to overturn long-standing precedents, from Roe v. Wade to Chevron. Its deference to Trump and its lenient treatment of the January 6 insurrection are even more alarming. It seems Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito want a king, or at least their wives do. We now live in a post-Trump v. U.S. society, where the Supreme Court has expanded presidential immunity to an outrageous degree. The President's official actions are increasingly treated as above the law. Customs and Border Protection flouts court orders, and figures like Pam Bondi claim judges have no right to check executive power. This case pushed journalistic writing to its limits. Here's how various outlets framed the story. The Verge, Democratic FTC commissioners say they were just illegally fired by President Trump. The Washington Post, 2 Democratic commissioners fired from FTC. Reuters, Trump fires both Democratic commissioners at FTC. Politico, Trump expels Democratic regulators at FTC. The New York Times, Trump fires Democrats on Federal Trade Commission. Ars Technica, Trump fires both FTC Democrats in challenge to Supreme Court. Precedent. The Hill, FTC commissioner says he was illegally fired by Trump. These headlines largely normalize an action that, by long-standing precedent, is illegal. As the editor of this story, I grappled with how to frame the headline. I knew the only dispute was over Humphrey's executor's validity, but I hesitated to outright call the firings illegal. Given the court's recent track record, I feared this precedent might soon be overturned. But the readers were right. Even in unprecedented times, headlines shouldn't quietly aid the erosion of our legal consensus. The Supreme Court may see itself as the ultimate arbiter of the law, but as Americans, we must reject the idea that it can crown Trump a king. The headline I should have written: Trump fires Democratic FTC commissioners in violation of SCOTUS precedent. Even that feels insufficient. What's happening is beyond abnormal. The Supreme Court has upended foundational principles of our society, undermining the predictability of the law. If our headlines don't convey this existential crisis, we're failing our readers. Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News Channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time.